Hi, Mr. Dillon. How you doing today? My name is Tony Stark. I'm owner and founder of Iron Man HVAC. Just talked to HR. They gave me a list of questions to ask. I guess first and foremost, why are you here today?
I'm here because I'm excited about this opportunity and feel like my background, work ethic, and values are aligned with your company.
Oh, sounds great, man. If you had one word to describe yourself, what would that word be?
Uh, I would use reliable. People know that they could count on me no matter what situation that they're in.
Heck yeah, that's a good daggone word. Um, is there any time in your life that you failed, and can you describe that for me?
I can, yes, sir. Uh, in the army, I once underestimated the time that it was to set up a Bradley and get it ready before
Hmm.
going out to a field event. And I forgot to ask for help from my team leader and my squad leader there in that point. They thought I could do it all by myself, but we were running a little behind at that point. And what I've learned was communication is key. I should have told them that I needed help from the beginning, so that's why we could be ahead of the task.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a great thing to be able to admit that. Since you talked about your failures, can you tell me a little bit of what you're most proud of?
I would say being in the army and growing as a person from being in the army for 5 years.
No, that is awesome. And when you were in the Army, were there any coworkers that bothered you? And can you name some of the qualities that bothered you the most?
I would say people not pulling their own weight when it comes to a certain task,
For sure.
because you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yep, I
And
agree.
sometimes when they're being dishonest or untruthful with certain tasks, which could uh, delay the task at hand.
Yeah, for sure. And if you can tell me a little bit about your strengths and weaknesses.
I would say one of my strengths are my discipline and then attention to detail when it comes to topics.
Excellent. And if I went back, did you have one of your sergeants? What was one of your sergeants' name in the army?
Sergeant Croy.
Sergeant Croy. What would he say was your greatest strength?
Um, Probably being like reliable like all the time, no matter what task he gave me, I was able to get the task done regardless of what it was.
Right. And what drove him the most crazy whenever he was supervising?
Sometimes my overthinking when it comes to certain tasks.
Right. Right. Yeah, overthinking can get me sometimes too. In this HVAC community, it's very hard, and you might overthink it. And you just got to get out there and do your thing. What would you like to work on to become better, to improve on?
I would say for now, I'd like to improve on my HVAC technician skills on troubleshooting because sometimes I just get stumped at like
Right.
certain problems.
And what changes have you made in your working with others to make you more effective?
Probably listening more and speaking less, making sure that I understand like the problem that we have at hand.
Right. And as far as successful people, what do you think are their best attributes?
I would say discipline and then adaptability and willingness to learn whatever it is that they're learning.
Yeah, I would say that would make you successful. And as far as your decision making, how do you make decisions?
I would consider the facts, weighing the risk, and thinking about the long term impacts that it might have.
Yeah, I agree. You always got to weigh those risks and make that determination to make that decision. And if there was one person that you would ask advice from or want help from, who would that be? That person.
That would be my old platoon sergeant, Sergeant Croy. He always kept a level head and always gave me honest advice of what I was doing.
And was there ever a time or an incident at work that you had to be totally honest about something, despite the potential downside?
One time I forgot to put the safety on the 50 cal while we were moving, and like we didn't have rounds loaded at that time, but I had to tell him like honestly that I forgot to put the safety back on. Well,
Right.
like hook up the safety with the battle simulator with it,
Yeah.
like the Joy-Con, that it wasn't fully hooked up at that point.
Because safety's always first, and even though that was a mistake, you had to make sure that hey, we've got to make it safe here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no worries. And then What happens if you made a decision on the battlefield and a coworker disagreed with it? What would you do?
First, I would listen to what they would have to say first and explain my decision with them clearly and as professionally as I can during that point.
Yeah, Comhead always rules all. And can you tell me a time that maybe while you were at work that there was a crisis and how you were able to overcome that?
One time when we were over at Yakima during a training exercise, three out of the four strikers they ended up losing comms like right before we ended up starting the operation for our mission. And since I knew a little bit more combo than everyone else, I had to run around and try and fix everyone's ASEP radios at that point and making sure that we were back up and making sure we had communications with all the strikers.
Excellent. And did you finish the mission?
Yeah, we
Mission
did.
accomplished. I love that. And as far as if there's a boss out there, how would you describe could get the best work out of you?
I would say it would have to be like his honesty and making sure he's upfront like all the time, making sure that he has a cool and level head.
Yep. And feedback too. That feedback loop between you and your boss is very
Oh,
important
yeah, and the communication.
for sure. And what would make you love coming into work?
Probably make feel like I make a difference during that point, or that like us as a team is making a difference, and we're actually accomplishing what we need to get.
Excellent. And what makes you most excited?
Usually, it's about like well the workplace, like the people around it, and how it goes. Because if you don't have a good workspace, then it's not a good time working over there, and then you're just bummed all the time and having to like learn everything.
Well, Mr. Dillon, hold on. Jenny, we got any other questions for this young gentleman? No? Okay, well, Mr. Dillon, it's been a pleasure. And
Yeah,
I just want to let you know we're going to hire you on the spot. Are you ready to rock and roll?
yeah. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.